when you go about things with a good heart and you do them for the right reasons,
Yes.
the recognition will come. It's going to take some time too, though.
Hey Wildcats, my name is Nicole Camacho, and you are currently listening to UAZ Podcast. Today I'm here with my colleague,
Rebecca Ursule.
Today we have a very special guest, Cesar. He is a PGA member professional for the Pascua Yaqui Tribal member and also a student here at the U of A. He's also president of the Pascua Yaqui Tribe charitable organization. He teaches and coaches golf while creating opportunities for the youth. Thank you so much, Cesar, for coming on the podcast and inspiring students here at the U of A. So for our first question today is, how did growing up in Tucson shape you as the person you are today?
I appreciate y'all having me here too. I'm super excited to be here, and I love that question. For me, I'm born and raised in the neighborhood called Old Pascua, so that's where the new casino is getting built. And it's amazing, like walking out the door every day and seeing the dome get built up there. I always think about what kind of generations will be impacted as far as our youth and our tribal members from that growth, and it's a rough neighborhood. I went to Ritchie Elementary there too, being walking distance from the elementary school. I remember always being late too, and it's just right there, like two blocks away. So going to Mansfield and Tucson High and seeing people come and go from the city too, for their own growth, which I'm very grateful to have awesome friends that are my best friends still to this day that moved to LA working for Atlantic Records or starting a family, moving to Austin, and they still have that Wildcat love too, which I think, like, we're in a group chat talking about U of A basketball all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And the team's got the city lit up right now. But I think sense of community, still keeping those relationships and they're genuine, and class I took on I forget exactly what it was called, but ethics in a digital world, I believe. And it talks about we lost our sense of connection, where we think text and emails is a way to stay connected, but there's nothing like this, like being in person and getting to know each other.
Yeah, our team for the U of A is #1 in the nation, which is great, and it's getting everyone so excited for the playoffs and everything. And you play golf, so how do you see golf and sports in general connecting the community?
Yeah, until I got involved with the Pascua Yaqui Tribe charitable organization and working at a golf course, I didn't realize how many nonprofit organizations we have in Tucson, and I think that speaks volumes to how big of hearts people have in the city. So over 5,000 nonprofits, biggest per capita in the nation, and golf's a big part of that. A lot of people have their own golf tournaments to give back to their own causes, and experts in their field or something that happened in their personal life or relationships that led them to this nonprofit passion is pretty huge. And for me, it's all about teaching. I love teaching the kiddos, the Pascua Yaqui tribal kiddos out at Sewilo Golf Club, and starting a PGA Junior League. I remember back in 2020, they said, hey, we got 20 scholarships from the PGA to get them into the Junior League. Are you willing to do it? And it was in the middle of COVID. And there were a lot of challenges with that, but I wanted to see it through. And I knew that these scholarships are there for, that season. And I always look at it that way. They're not going to be around forever. So we had the kids wearing masks. We had to take their temperature. They were wearing gloves. We were sanitizing the clubs every time they switched them over. But we still made it happen, and I'm super proud of that. And that was like following the casino guidelines and the courses. But I think at that point, nothing was going to stop us from doing it. And it's grown since then. Like we talked about before getting on the podcast, I had a little statistic of teaching over 150 tribal youth since 2020. So pretty proud of that.
That's great. What's your favorite moment with the team?
Man, I think so. I almost shed a tear for sure when my nephew told me he wants to be a PGA professional.
Oh.
And he's 18 years old now, and he started in our first class in 2020. Didn't feel like it was his thing, really. but him and my nieces and nephews, they stuck through it, and I think they showed up probably because their parents told them to, like, hey, that scholarship can go to somebody else, And I see him work on his game. He started working at Sawilo Golf Club too. And so it's cool that it'll be like a generational thing, So he teaches classes with me now and trying to show him the ropes and showing them like good communication, just integrity, trying to push him to go back to school, but he's working on becoming a PGA pro now.
Yeah, that's great. It's always good to see you teaching the people in the community, but also like seeing somebody walking in the same footstep as what you're doing, which is it's whatever you're doing is bringing the young people together and connecting the community, and also seeing somebody else also living this same footstep and also doing the same thing in the community. It always brings lots of joy. So many students want to give back, but they aren't sure where to start from. What are some meaningful ways some students can serve in their communities right now? Because like you mentioned earlier, many students, whenever they graduate or get their degrees, they're usually going out of state to go work, which is really for like kind of like their personal gains, which is not a bad thing as well. But like, how can we retain most of them to stay in Tucson and work on many other developmental projects?
Absolutely. Like we talked about, there's so many nonprofits out there. So I think finding the cause that's near and dear to your heart is definitely going to keep you attached to it. You'll be able to relate with the people who do it too. And just put yourself out there. I remember a mentor of mine, I told him, hey, there's this thing called the Pascua Yaqui Tribe charitable organization. I'm thinking of getting involved in it, because we talked about like stages in your career. And I said, what stage do you think I'm at? And he said, you need to start giving back. And I was like, all right, I agree. And I told him about that board, and he said, all right, well, you got to go become president of that thing. And I was like, man, I don't know. I'm pretty busy right now. And I remember he pulled out his phone and showed me a schedule, and he's like, you think you're busy? And I was like, all right, you got me there. So I was, and the board would agree, pretty persistent about just joining the board at first. But planted that seed in their head, like, hey, what do I got to do to become president? Because I really want to, for me to lead is to serve as well. So I find that leadership style has worked for me and our team, which has been awesome. But joining boards too is a huge one. I feel like there's been a big shift, mostly in the golf industry, of a lot of folks. The younger people have that fresh perspective on things, and they've got that technical expertise, and they've got all these tools that can really help advance missions, and I'm all about it, and I love to see it. Me being kind of in the middle, not super young, but not up there yet too. I kind of see it from that lens.
So when did you start giving back to the community? So because most people always wait until they retire. That's when they start giving back to the community, and that's the ideology around giving back to your communities. Like when you've worked, you have some money, and now you're stable, and now you feel like, oh, now I can give back to the community. So when did you realize that this is the time that I should start now, not waiting?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty lucky that it tied into my work in the golf industry. I had these skills of running golf tournaments from scratch and helping people advance their golf tournaments and come up with different ideas, and starting up like the PGA Junior League with people support. And it's a huge team effort. I think it doesn't just have to be money that you use to give back to a community. It could be your time, your volunteer, your expertise, and in your field too. I think having diverse boards is super important. That way not everyone's just agreeing on the same direction, and then it could be a way off direction. So I'd say anybody can give back. And I remember it came full circle last night, actually. I did a financial literacy course before I was involved with any nonprofits, just for our junior league kids. So we partnered up with BMO Bank to do that, and then got involved with the PYTCO, and we just started a relationship with Vantage West, who's all over the city, and they've got amazing people. And we did another financial literacy course, and it was really cool. And that happened last night. Some of the Pascua Yaqui tribal members came out, and the entire community really came out, and some gentlemen from Men's Path too, which are tribal members who are going through issues with substance abuse and alcohol abuse. So I was really proud of them showing up and really just being engaged too in that. And that's one of the smaller events too, but it was cool to see.
Lots of people say to be successful, they have to leave this small city, Tucson. But you, on the other hand, you stayed in Tucson while still pursuing education and leadership. So how can students resist the pressure to leave to succeed and instead building a huge impact where they are?
I think we've all seen so much growth in the past few years, and I get to meet people in a wide range of ages being in the golf industry. And they talk about, man, Oracle Road used to look like this, and that growth isn't stopping too. So there's lots of room for all types of industries in the city. And I think just seeing, again, that casino, and not that the whole economy revolves around gambling, but that's a huge entity to bring to like very central middle of town. And I get to talk to tribal council members, and they talk about how businesses are building around that too, and for anticipating that. So I think you can definitely find your own space, and there's a ton of support out there, which is awesome. Like the great people at Startup Tucson and the Tucson IDA and the SBDC too. There's some incredible people who are willing to help, give their time, whatever it takes to help you succeed. Like people are always putting others first, and I think when you serve in that sense, the blessings do come your way too.
You said that you were in contact with the tribal members, council members. Were you always involved into the politics side, or is this brand new for you since you started getting involved?
Not at all involved on the politics side, and I think being in the nonprofit space, getting the taste of it. I've always had the utmost respect for our tribal council members that serve in that position, and I tell them all the time, man, I commend you guys for doing what you do every day. But right now, it does not interest me to be in the politics, because it's so much. Like, it doesn't turn off, and we're in a world where you always have your phone on you or two phones on you. And the work never stops too, just like in the nonprofit space. So I'm very family oriented, and I think that's a big sacrifice they're making for the betterment of something that's bigger than them.
Well, as a tribal member, how has serving in your community influenced your definition of success so far?
That's a huge part of what drives me. Waking up every day and being around people that look like me, when we're serving the community. And I think I take that perspective from the kids. Like, we just got a new PGA Professional who's teaching at Sawilo Golf Club, and her name's Rhiannon. And I think that's cool for the ladies to see, oh, she's like Coach Rhiannon too, instead of just me trying to tell them, hey, do this and that. And my younger nephew, who's helping us now too, working to build a bridge so that they take it over. Because they're much younger than I am too. So I think for the kiddos, that'll inspire them even more, for me just being that guide for them and getting them any resources that they need. I think that's huge. But what's interesting about the Pascua Yaqui Tribe charitable organization is it's a state chartered nonprofit that's separate from the tribe. So we don't necessarily report to tribal council. So we serve the entire community, and that's why it was built, and got to speak to the folks who actually formed the entity. And they said, we don't want to be restricted to just helping tribal members or people who have Yaqui heritage but don't meet the blood quantums to be a tribal member too. And I felt that a lot, because from the age of 18 to 23, I wasn't an enrolled tribal member because my grandpa never had a birth or death certificate. So I was in that category where I'm like, man, I want to go to school. I don't want to go in debt. My paperwork is like pending, so that's really important to me with that perspective.
So then what can students learn from serving with the heart of service first? Because I know you've been talking about that, but also when it comes to students, we're kind of like in that age brackets where we have to work so hard, and then that's why many people put service aside. Because they're like, I want to first make money, like I want to be able to pay my bills, and I be able to support my family. So like, how can students navigate amidst those challenges and put service first?
Absolutely. I think when you look at it from that lens, there's so many events going on around town, really cool events that you can be a part of, and you never realize how much your volunteers help drive a successful event. And you can volunteer and benefit, like attend the event, or they'll give you like drink tickets or food tickets, things like that. Because great leaders do take care of their volunteers in that sense, and you'll learn a ton. You can, before joining a board, pick someone's brain on the governance that goes into it. Because that was something that I didn't really have under my belt coming into the charitable organization, and I was very upfront about that. I'm like, hey, I'm super willing to learn it, but I don't have that under my belt yet, so I'm gonna make some mistakes along the way. And people are an open book. They want you to learn from them. They're not like gatekeeping any of that knowledge either. So, but I think that's an important skill for the resume too.
So it's kind of like a thing that says they had that gift, so the hand that gives receives more. Because you may not receive necessarily financial support or money in that sense, but you may receive lots of wisdom from the people whom you're networking around, or you may get more opportunities as well, but you're also putting yourself there to serve the community.
Absolutely. I think it fills a part of your heart that I didn't know needed filling, after you put yourself out there, you put in, like you guys realize, starting an idea, seeing it come to fruition too. Like we did a basketball camp with Jaden Bradley, and that was amazing. Starting point guard, he's got the city lit up. His dad was there too. But like from the time it was a little idea, I'm like, man, I really hope we can pull this off. I'm sure he's super busy. He's focused on the season. The team's got big shoes to fill. And he came out to our community in our gym, and I'm like, man, all of those phone calls, the back and forth, the organization was all worth it, because now he's over here playing with the kids and answering their questions, and he signed a picture for all of them too. And I think for them that'll be hopefully something they remember for the rest of their lives. So
yeah, that's great. So what challenges did you face while growing up here in Tucson, and how did that shape you as the person you are right now?
Yeah, like I said, growing up in a rough neighborhood, and then it's crazy, like seeing, I was at Star Pass the other day where they had like a full renovation. We're meeting, talking about hosting a charity golf tournament there for Roman Bravo Young, who's an Olympic wrestler, and being in spaces from like where I grew up at to a fully renovated, like really nice space. Like it's a crazy contrast. But like you can go from that neighborhood to La Encantada too, and then there's so much diversity here. It taught me a lot, how to conduct myself in certain rooms too, especially with this game that I'm involved in. But I wouldn't trade it for the world. I feel like at a certain point when I was in high school going to college, I'm like, maybe I should expand, see what else is out there. But I'm very lucky I've been able to travel and see certain parts of, I wouldn't say the world, mostly like the U.S., but that broadened my horizons a lot. But, my whole family lives here. We live in that neighborhood too, so we love it. Like my grandma's house 4 blocks away. I live across the street from my mom too, so it's amazing.
And do you ever want to expand this organization? I know there's different tribes all over America, so do you want to expand it to them also? Or do you want to start right now just in the Pascua Yaqui?
Absolutely. Yeah, our strategic plan, and we really don't have a ceiling with the charitable organization, but we realize that like we don't want to reinvent any wheels. And there's so many departments, like the social services department at the Pascua Yaqui Tribe, and there's in Guadalupe lots of Pascua Yaqui presence, and California Pascua Yaqui presence. We want to help everyone. We want to do it brick by brick, and we found ourselves as a bridge, between whether it's nonprofits or corporations that want to give back. We can be that bridge to connect everybody and make it happen, instead of us starting every single event from scratch too. Like we worked with the Wellness Center to do the Jaden Bradley event, and what's cool is 2 of their employees joined our board after that. They were like, hey, we liked what you were about. Well, we kind of headhunted them, not gonna lie. They're like, man, we love for you guys to serve on our board. You're already doing it. You can add it to your resume. You can learn about governance, and they were all for it, and they've been amazing too. So
Yeah, so you're kind of working in a unison where you work with every other department rather than starting something very new on scratch. So you all work together, and I think each piece makes a puzzle. So you all work together and put those efforts together. It is great than just starting everything like on a brand new or afresh. Sometimes it's so hard to start something on ground up, because you face so many challenges.
100%.
Yeah. So if you could speak directly to a tuition student who wants to make a difference but feels unseen or unheard, what would you tell them to help them step into their power? Because I think we all have power within us, and sometimes we don't know how to bring that up, or we don't know where to go. We don't have a specific direction. So what can you tell to a student who feels that like they feel unseen, they feel that they really can't do anything?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think everyone has their own superpower. And for me, when we were seeking out people on the board who maybe had no experience or they did have a lot of experience, I told them, hey, we want to work with you because of your strengths. We want to lean hard on your strengths. And I think a lot of young people have strengths they don't realize are really powerful, like digital graphic design. That goes a long way, and people pay a lot of money for it. But if you can volunteer and give those services to a corporation or a fresh perspective on how to get traction online, because they say if you're not online, you're invisible nowadays, But I think when you go about things with a good heart and you do them for the right reasons, the recognition will come. It's going to take some time too, though. And like you said, the puzzle pieces, your puzzle piece might not be the face of something, but you could be the glue that holds it all together. You got that. If you got emotional intelligence, you keep that whole board together. Or if you've got leadership skills, you can guide people through tough times.
Thank you for being with us and talking to us about service in the community, and we really appreciate you thinking about serving others at an early age, because like I said earlier, a lot of people just put that aside because of so many challenges in life, and they're like, I'm gonna serve when I'm 80 years old, or when I'm 60 years old, I'm going to volunteer my time. But you thought it wise in a way that you should start like helping and supporting others earlier, which is great, and that's bringing, I think, joy to so many young people. And when it comes to golf is a sport as well, so it connects people in so many ways, and you may meet people that you never thought like you'll meet in life just because you are all playing together in one same playground. So I think what you're doing is really amazing, and we appreciate you to serve with a service first.
I appreciate you. No, this is really fun. Thanks for having me today.